something. I am having a moment here.
Hey everyone. I'm feeling pretty crappy. I've been stressed. I have a headache. I haven't been sleeping well. I've discovered that oftentimes when I feel that way, it's because I'm consuming more than I'm creating. So I made myself come down here. I have an hour that Matthias and Lee are out, and I am going to make something. I'm not 100% sure what yet. It's kind of organic as it goes, but I used to do a lot of collage and a lot of kind of Joseph Campbell-esque shadow boxes, so I think it's going to be in that realm, and it's going to be small. So I have this little box from possibly some jewelry that I got a long time ago. I have a box of boxes up there, and I'm just going to make something. We'll see how it goes.
Can you sit down, bud?
A super scanner.
Oh, is that a super scanner?
So you wouldn't know it, but this is a different day. A couple weeks later, I am actually physically sick as opposed to just being stressed. I needed to get out of my bed. It is freezing. It's been, like, I know this doesn't mean a lot to those of y'all that live in colder places, but it's been like in the teens all week. And our house isn't very well insulated, so hence the hat. But I figured I'd try and see if I could get a little more progress on my little wee box. I have some ideas as to how to proceed, so we'll see how that turns out. I've got a few different elements that I'm playing with, plus possibly some moss. So we'll break out the hot glue gun, see how things go. Question is, where did I put the moss? Here. I called it miniature ground cover instead of moss. I find it really hard to talk doing this because I'm not used to talking during this kind of art. It's weird. Like with building something, like that's a lot of muttering, a lot of figuring things out. But this is a much more like feeling spiritual medium for me. Like I don't have a lot of commentary, which is probably not great content, but it's just much more vibe based. So I hope it's still interesting. Now, part of the construction of this that I wanted to do was to either have, I was originally thinking like a wire coming down from the top to suspend the owl in place, or probably a much easier solution, which is to have kind of an accordion made out of paper on the back to give it a little bit of depth. But I kind of like the wire solution. I want to experiment with that and see, because I've done the accordion before. I'm definitely going to get paper in my tea. I'm realizing that if I do the wire, it's going to cut across the moon. So I probably should end up doing the accordion. I love it. The one thing I don't have down here is cardstock. It's hard for me to remember to put this in front of the camera rather than where I would naturally put it. Boing. I feel like the only way to do it is to do it. So let's go. Okay. I want to try and see if I can make it not tilt out like that and make it like straight up and down. Oh, okay. No, that works. We're done. I mean, we're not done, but yeah. And maybe some greenery for the treetops. Gotta love how this setup is either you see my head or you see the art, and not both. See, I like the color of these because like it's got that dark forestiness, but they're more licheny and less like actual trees. And we've got like this moss, but that's very mossy. As is this moss, but it's a lot closer to what I want. But it feels very, very flat. Maybe that'll be a good thing. Because I only need a little bit of it. It just feels very brown. Sucks because like a good chunk of it is like the tops are green. Like the bottoms are brown. Like this looks like a nice carpet, but If I only want a little bit, it's kind of hard to isolate. Maybe if I use some scissors. Get off. Yes, but it doesn't look very wild. See? Like, I want the consistency of this stuff. Maybe if I like paint it. This is probably the best bet. And I can try and paint it, maybe a darker color. Ah, frick. Yeah. What happened? Does this feel cozy, or does it feel like I'm trapping the bird? I think it feels cozy. There. I feel like it might need some additional dimension. Like I'm tempted to put some glitter in the back, but I don't know. We'll see. Good for now. Time to clean up some moss. So this is where we are today. I should get back to focusing on getting better. But my therapist is right that you find the activities that like give you energy and do them when you are not feeling energetic. Because like, yeah, sometimes you need a nap, and sometimes you need a life-giving activity. See you in a bit. Seems like I only come down here these days when I'm feeling sad. Cause it's real hard right now. But making art is often the best way I know how to feel a little bit better. So we're gonna keep plugging away at this little box and we'll see what we come up with. One of my favorite podcasts is called The Witch Wave, and the theme is art is magic, magic is real. With the idea that you make something and it creates a change in yourself or someone else, and that's magic. It affects them or you in some way. And so I am working some craft magic right now for myself, for whoever needs it. Just to give you an update of where we left off. There. And there. I want to figure out what to do on the inside here, how to transition from this story to this story, and I want to figure out what to do with the outside of the box. We'll figure out which things we're going to do today. So I really like this because it kind of looks like a heart, and it also looks like the face of an owl. And if I can pair it with this key, that might really be something. I wish I had something a bit more smaller and delicate to cut this with. I think probably manual is the way to go to kind of slice it. Or do I want to drill into it? Stick the key kind of up in there because like I do like the hollowness. Ooh. Can you see this? I like the hollowness of it where you can kind of see all the way back there, and I worry if I slice it too close then it'll just be, you'll be able to see like the back of it. Luckily I have a bunch of them so I can experiment. Terrified I'm gonna chop off my fingers. Yeah, this is scary. This is a tough nut to crack. Well, I'm learning things about nuts. Where did it go? Well, that one's gone. Luckily, I have a few others, slightly different. But hopefully I'll be able to find this one. Oh, ow. I always end up pinching my stomach. Of course, I drilled through one of the eyes, so it's less clean. But this is potentially a nice prototype. I wish the key was a little bigger. The nice thing is, with this method, I just need to drill a single hole. Okay, so it was either too big or too small, but I think I can fill this up with glue and have it set. Owl key. Okay, that's all for today. Gotta get back to doing life stuff. But I made some time for art, which is important. And I made a little owl heart key. It's late.
I'm tired, and I don't want to play games.
It's also really cold in here. Apparently my parents' friends ask them how I have time to do this, and it is either because I have a day where Matthias is out of town and I just only do this, or I find pockets of time. That's kind of why it's called the Workshop Between Worlds, where I slip into this little pocket universe for 15 minutes and I do my thing. And so that's what tonight is going to be. Oh, by the way, immediately after I filmed the last bit, I found the bottom of the key, but I had already done this one. And I think this one actually works better because it's a bit longer for the shape. No, you can't see it right now. It's fine. I'm thinking that, like, I could just glue this into the box, but I kind of want it to seem like it's buried a little bit. So I might just put some foam in here and have like a little bit of a cutout for this to give it kind of a nest. There you go. So that it will kind of have a little bit of a nesting place here. So it's not all kind of whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. I'm also on like 16% on my phone, so this is not going to be long. A little backlighting. Okay, we're not going to do you today. You're not helping as much as usual. It's time to sleep. My day is done. Let's count down to calm down. Did you see that? I don't know. I think you're running out of space again. Yes, new blade. Perfect. Organic. Okay, so one thing I didn't think about was that if the butt of this is sticking out the back, this is going to be, so I think I might need 2 layers. Just want to make sure that this closes. Kind of. Okay, so I might have to put a second layer of foam under this one. So let's do that. Okay, so slightly better. It is looking a little funky right now, but that is because when I glue it, I'm going to cover this up in like dirt or texture or something. That's the plan. So it doesn't need to look pretty right now. As predicted, my phone died before I was able to finish what I was doing. I ended up gluing the 2 pieces, and now I'm going to read Tress and go to bed, and hopefully I'll find another small pocket of time to keep whittling away at this little box. Good night, guys. Okay, we're back. So I looked on the internet and they said the most reliable way to make dirt for models is to use dirt and mix it in with some Elmer's glue. First, I'm gonna paint it brown just to make sure I don't, like, if I have any like gaps that are white, I can, they will still look brown. And let that dry, and then mix together some glue, some Elmer's glue and dirt. I am really hoping that I can do it in such a way that it won't kind of crumble all over the owl part. That is the key for this. So we'll see. I am realizing that I think with foam you have to prep it. I don't quite remember how. Possibly Mod Podge? I wanted to use a darker brown, but the darker brown I had is frozen. Then, of course, I remembered that there is another way to make dark brown.
Am I ginger?
No, you're just sort of brown.
So here's where we start getting a little more witchy. There was a hedgehog statue that was in my garden, and due to the rain and the cold, it exploded. One of the kids in my neighborhood was there when we found it and suggested that we bury it. So I gathered earth from the grave of this hedgehog to put in this project. So it's been a few weeks. This is the pace of art when you have a toddler and a day job. And I had some thoughts. So this feels a bit thick because I want to actually put some texture on it. So I might kind of cut it down to still kind of have the cradle up here, but the rest of it I can fill in with like dirt. Because I wanted to kind of feel like she clawed this out of the earth. I don't know why with bloody fingers, but like that feels right. So earth needs to happen. So I'm going to try and carve away a bit of the foam on top so that I have space for the dirt. And then I'm going to make this kind of like glue and actual dirt mixture. And we'll see how that works. This was another moment where I was very afraid of cutting off my own fingers. And of course, I ended up having to paint it again. Happy accident that I put too much black in the color mixture. Okay, so the next step is supposedly to mix glue with this and paint it on here. The thing that I'm worried about is getting it too much in the cracks, because then I won't be able to close the lid. Also, the paint is wet, so I should probably exercise patience and wait. This is me, literally watching paint dry. Hello, my lovelies. The world is burning. I just came out of a kind of like a very strong hyper focus on some spreadsheets, so I am taking a break to mix glue and dirt. There's something really visceral in this piece about like I want her to find the key in the dirt. I want her to have to like get dirt under her nails, possibly even be bloody, like clawing this key from the ground. Yeah, so that's what it feels like some days. So that's what we're gonna do right now. I stole my son's school glue, so pouring a little bit of his creativity and free spirit in there. That is a rock. Are you a rock? Probably should have tested this out. Instead of just saying, oh, the internet says it's okay. Ah! I feel like this is a good solid base. I'm gonna add some more like color to it. Like more pieces of like darker dirt or like pieces of red, little rocks or something. Because it is a bit monochrome right now. I'll have to think about how to do that. Now I'm gonna wash my brushes and get back to what I was doing. And this is where we really start to get a little magic-y. In order to change the colors of the earth, I decided to put a little coffee into it. Used coffee grounds from my kitchen. I dabbed a little Mod Podge on it to give a little space for the coffee grounds to stick. And the nice thing about little projects like this is that I can sit up in front of my television while watching Weird Sisters, instead of in the freezing cold garage.
I think it might be a good idea if you have a quiet word with Nanny one of these days. Very soon. No, can never. I just can never be bothered at all.
And since this project reminds me a lot of the women in my family, I took a little piece of the dried rose that was on my grandmother's grave and put it in the piece.
But if you preface your next remark with "Uncle, if they go married, it will go hard with you."
And then I dabbed it with a bit of red paint, hot glued the key into the hole, and I sprayed it with some clear coat, which I then also went over with a little bit of Mod Podge for the cover. Then I spent the rest of the evening absorbing the wisdom of Granny Weatherwax. Later, I did a few touch-ups and prepared for the reveal.
Can I go now?
Hello all. I'm really pretty angry, which is a good thing. I've gone through a lot of stages of grief over the past couple of months. I started this video, I think, in January, and a lot of it was full of fear. And now I've moved on to anger, so I think that's good. So here's the final piece. I hope it speaks for itself. But here's some of the things I learned over the course of this process. And a lot of them were bits of wisdom from other witches. So first, fascism is old. Witchcraft is ancient. I went to a crafty witch retreat, and it was really wonderful to get to meet with other makers who are magically inclined and to kind of channel our creativity into this community. And one of the witches there said, I forget where they got it from, but fascism is old, but witchcraft is ancient. We have always been here. We will always be here. Number 2, art is magic. Magic is real. That's from the Witch Wave. Art can transform you while you're making it, and it can also transform the folks who receive it. It is a form of magic to be able to change someone or yourself. It's also a bit like Granny Weatherwax's headology, where a lot of magic is figuring out where to focus your time and energy and how to change your energy into something useful. Finally, number 3, the quote that I love, I think, the most from Granny Weatherwax is, be yourself here and now as hard as you can. That's the way that we're all going to get through this, is to be ourselves as hard as we can here and now and be there for each other. And I am getting to the point now where I am able to figure out how I can help. I didn't want to do anything that was performative or disingenuous, or because I felt guilty not doing something. I wanted to do something that was mine in the way that I can serve best. And I am figuring out a few ways to do that now. One of the ways is that I am going to sell this box to whoever wants it and donate the proceeds to the charity of your choice, ACLU, PBS, however much you want to give for this, I will donate that in your name. I'm learning that a lot of what I want to do is to be here for people, to be here to receive them when they have been hurt, to help my neighbors, to help my friends, to help my community. So I am finding ways to do that locally, because it often feels like we can't do anything about like the larger things, but I can make connections. I can give food to people who need it. I can create a community of mutual support when people are impacted by these things. And I think that's the direction I want to go. I'll still be here making art, doing library things, building and creating, because that is a way that I am me, that I am the most me. And I need to make sure not to shrink myself for anyone. I need to lean into the things that make me me. And I hope that you will too. So now, let's go out and make connections, make changes, be ourselves as hard as we can. Hope to see you around the workshop. Bye.